Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 26 of the Carbonite Convos podcast. If this is your first time joining us, you've just taken your first step into a larger world. And like always, if you're a returning listener, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. We are recording episode 26 on, what is today, Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday, February 3rd, in preparation for Star Wars Podcast Day on February 7th. Now, there's a couple of reasons we can't record it on that day, and that is because, well, one main reason that is because it is Super Bowl Sunday, and our Bucks are going to be facing off against the Chiefs, so it's going to be a long day. So we wanted to record this episode in celebration of Star Wars Podcast Day 2021 on today because we have a good topic for you guys. I'm joined by a couple great guys like always. Alec, Wall Crawler Pops, how we doing?
Dude, I'm great. I am excited to get into this topic a little bit. I'm super thankful to be part of this Star Wars Podcast Day.
Yes, sir.
I think that I kind of see that as an honor, and to be among the other fellow podcasters that will be a part of it. It's great company. So
definitely, and a very very new podcaster, Vinny Bricks on Twitter. Colton, how we doing today, bud?
Doing amazing, man. Excited to get into this podcast, my guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So today we're going to be, in honor of Star Wars Podcast Day, we kind of had to take a step back and look at how much Star Wars has grown pretty much since The Mandalorian started, and how much has been announced, and just how eager we are for the future of Star Wars. So we wanted to take this time and just look back at Star Wars on the other hand, and look at some of our key favorite scenes from the entire saga. It can be anything from comics to books to video games, any Star Wars media, you name it. So we're just going to say some of our favorite scenes, or the things that we think impacted the Star Wars story the most, as well as we're going to talk a little bit about, what have been Alec and I's favorite memories from the podcast so far. And another thing that we're going to be talking about, I think this was the perfect event to announce this. We're having our first interview, our first guest from the Star Wars galaxy on Carbonite Convos. So we'll tell you which actress or actor that is towards the end of the show. So before we get into that, let's just talk about Star Wars Podcast Day. Like I mentioned, it is this Sunday in celebration of the first ever Star Wars podcast. So, Alec, before we really go into it, what does Star Wars Podcast Day mean to you?
see, that to me, that's more of like an event that gives like a monumentous occasion to people like us. People who love the fandom, want to express their opinions and what it means to them in a platform where people are open to listen, to criticize, to give their feedback to, and to conversate back and forth with. That's the whole reason we started this thing to begin with. So it's like to be a part of that. It's like a big high five, knuckle bump, whatever you want to call it. It's just it's a feel good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And the first one came out in 1999, so the year the Phantom Menace came out, and we're joined today by over 70 Star Wars podcasts. So it's just incredible to think how this story has affected so many people to the point where they want to take time out of their day to just talk about it. Not just watch the movies, but actually make content and talk about it and put themselves out there to meet new people and just learn new things about the story. It's incredible. So this was all thought up by Daniel from StarWarsNowThis.com. So big shout out to him. He was who created the Instagram account for Star Wars Podcast Day. We've thrown a couple hashtags around just to get our name in the game. I know he posts a lot of media with the podcast logos on it, so it's really cool just seeing our logos with a bunch of very very talented content creators. So it's definitely a lot of fun. Colton, I know you're new to it, but what does Pod Day mean to you?
Well, dude, I just started listening to podcasts in general probably like a year ago, and to find out that there's a whole community of Star Wars fans making their own content and talking about stuff, it just makes me really excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, Alec, I was going to go at the show, we talk about our Star Wars moments first, but then we talk about our favorite podcast memories last, but I'd kind of like to just talk about the podcast for a little bit, in celebration of the event that, as a whole, if you're good with that.
Absolutely.
So what, like, looking back, what are some of your like favorite memories from, well, quick backstory. We started, I think it was our first episode came out May 30th of 2020. So I say we started June 1st, my birthday.
Right.
That's when our first episode came out. We're at 25 episodes, but it's branched a long way from that. We do reactions to Star Wars, Marvel shows. We make stories of questions that we think the fans are asking and would want to know.
And we even expanded to showcasing our collection.
Yes, that's a big part of it. So, what's something that you've taken from this whole experience?
Well, I think this actually fits a lot of people. COVID has been an absolutely terrible situation for the majority of people, and some people have suffered greatly. But out of it, beautiful things have been made as well.
Yeah.
And that's what I see this as that opportunity when you and I we're typically pretty busy. We had the time to literally be like, hey, let's do something fun, something that we want to do, and roll with it. And I think it's interesting to see how much we've grown together over the past 8 months.
8 months.
And how many people we've been able to like reach out to in the community, friends we've been able to make, information learned, like
Definitely.
as far as things happen, that the actual concept of Star Wars and the back, like different stories and those sort of things. And then physically, like how this community works, how the platform works, how people make content, and it really makes you appreciate other people's stuff even more.
Oh, it does. And I like what you said about how you meet new people and you meet friends. I think one of my favorite parts of this show is having guests on. It started off you and me, but look at us now. We expanded to 3 people. So we're growing our, Carbonite Convo family as a whole. But also we've had a plethora, well, not a plethora. I think that describes like a crap ton of people, but we've had a decent amount of people that have been willing to, come onto our show. We've had people that have had us on their show. So you meet so many great people. You see so many different sides of the story that you thought you knew so much about. And once you join the fandom this deep, it cracks your brain open like an egg, and you just learn so much.
I also feel like we got in at the right time. Like,
yeah.
As far as like, it was right. Like, obviously, like right after season 7 of Clone Wars came out.
See, I think we got in it a little too late.
Yes, a little bit, but like, then all of a sudden we were hit with this tidal wave of just new stuff, and
definitely,
it given us an opportunity to create more content and expand this, and stay relevant with what people want to hear and what we're interested in as well.
Yeah, and it's given us time. What I like that we started it when there was a big break, especially in Marvel content, is that it's given us time to fine tune the technical skills and just learn. Not in regards to Star Wars, but learn about podcasting, about doing YouTube channel, about running social media. Like, we've learned a lot in those technical areas, and they're just as fun.
Absolutely. I completely agree. It's been a fun process physically, like, and how much easier and how much quicker things have gotten from the very beginning, when it would take us forever to get one small thing done, just because we had zero idea. I think that goes with everybody, but
I think the thumbnails have sped up the most. I can bang one of those out pretty quickly. What about episodes? And Colton, you can chime in on this too. Do you guys have like a favorite episode, Alec, that you remember doing?
Oh, I mean,
Colton,
dude,
that you remember watching?
Our reaction to the finale of Mando has been by far the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah,
being around this, like this, the mind explosion that happened on the screen that we were able to capture, dude.
It's funny because sorry, go ahead, Colton.
I was about to say, I remember watching your first reaction video with the Jedi and the Mandalorian, where Ahsoka comes back, and I was going to the page to see what else you guys were talking about, like the podcast wise, and I saw you made a reaction about the show, and I was like, oh my gosh! So I sat there and watched it, and I just saw how you guys reacted to the show, and I thought it was awesome. And just seeing how you guys reacted was cool.
I appreciate it. One thing I've noticed is that, the more emotion, not emotions, but the more authenticity you show, the more genuine you are on camera, the more people warm up to those videos, because that's what I think, why I think the reactions get so much love is because that truly shows us reacting to our favorite things.
Mhm.
The way things are going in 2021 with movie theaters, with streaming, I wonder if it's going to start happening with movies where people, they pull it up on a TV and they record their reaction to the next Marvel movie.
And have you guys been doing reactions to WandaVision?
Mhm.
Yes, we have.
Yes, you have?
Yes,
All
we
right.
have.
I'll be
Yeah.
At
sure
this
to
point,
watch
we
that
will
for
have.
Bigfoot.
I've had one come out 2 days ago, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So check out our episode 5 reaction of WandaVision. It came out, like you said, 3 days. Well, yeah, it came out Friday morning. Came out Friday.
I'm
Look at
excited
us.
for
We're
the new
speaking
one.
to like future selves. It's world between worlds here. Honestly, when I think of some of my favorite moments from the podcast so far, I think of the moments that people don't see, people don't hear. And this time I'm not talking about making stuff. I'm just talking about, the idea share between you and I. And now with Colton, I know I talked to some other people. We all talk to other people online, just share these ideas, but especially just this process with you guys and just talking about Star Wars so much with your best friends and just all the things that happen off camera, because we have a lot of laughs.
Mhm.
The minutes leading up to the show, we have a lot of laughs during the show that we can't really put out because they're just like nobody wants to see us laugh for randomly for 3 minutes. So we can't put that out, but we have a lot of fun between, I don't quote, between takes, I guess.
Right. I,
Yeah.
I I just know how much stupid things I've said that have been edited out. And you're like, dude, you are literally an idiot.
You're like, we're dancing on the show, but maybe we need to keep those in there from now on.
Oh my god.
In our first episode, did you keep us dancing in it when we hit the little
Of course. Well, I'm
Yes,
sure I
sir.
did.
you better.
Goodness. So, Alec, anything else that stuck out? Like, what's your favorite videos to make so far?
Well, it's been interesting because they're all so different. Like,
Yeah.
because like the short stories or whatever, you have to do, you do some research and like go and watch previous things and all that, and it reminds you of like why you like certain characters so much, versus like unboxings. Those are fun too because you're seeing a pretty dope pop usually for the first time.
Mhm.
And then obviously the pod and the reactions, like they're all different. They're all fun and exciting for different reasons. So I don't know if I can necessarily pick one.
Yeah.
Obviously being part of the reactions is pretty dope. We're getting new content of Marvel or
Yeah.
Star Wars or whatever's relevant, or whatever we want to watch, and can't beat that.
Definitely. It's been a lot of fun, and it's cool highlighting the collections on our personal. You can see them over in that corner. I think I'm probably pointing the right way for those of you watching. You can follow us on social media. You're right there, Alec. You can follow us on social media just to check out the behind the scenes of us with our collections. I know I've been posting a little more on TikTok about news, Easter eggs, my collection, stuff like that. So it's a good chance to see us when we're, not when we don't have lights and cameras in our faces. So it's pretty fun. Anything
sure.
else? Anything else before we move on to the best moments in Star Wars?
No, man, I'm ready to dive into it.
All right, sounds good. Let me just pull up my notes here. Actually, Alec, why don't you start? I know you've had a lot of you really prepared for this one. You were like, I got my notes right. I'm good to go. I was like, all right, he put a lot of thought into this.
I did, just because obviously like this is the height of all of this for each one of us. So you gotta come prepared. So I'll go ahead and just kick it off with. I think the reason that this has become such a favorite moment of mine is just because of like the relevance of it and how, I guess, new you want to call it, and how much I've grown for the character in the past several months or years. Number one on my list right now, and this is no surprise to anyone who's listening before, is the Ahsoka Vader fight from Rebels. Okay, and
Why is
yes,
that?
yes, Vader's my favorite character, and Ahsoka's pretty close up there as well. But I went back and rewatched that earlier, and the depth and intensity of that entire scene is absolutely ridiculous. So to start, Ahsoka literally just got done fighting Maul.
She just got done farting Maul. Is that what you said?
Ahsoka just got done fighting Maul. Are you happy? Jeez, this guy. Okay, so she just got done, and obviously Kanan took over, and that whole thing went down. But Maul's reaction alone when Vader was close, minutes before that, he was like, "We have to hurry. We have to get out of here," because he knows Vader is there. When Maul is intimidated by someone,
yeah,
something's about to go down. Okay,
that says a lot.
So fast forward a few minutes, okay, and I'm just gonna read a little bit of the dialogue between the two, Vader and Ahsoka.
Are you gonna do a girl voice for Ahsoka?
Yeah.
You have to.
I'll do my best.
Oh,
all right.
Oh no.
Okay, so Vader is basically saying to Ezra, like, he says, "Perhaps I was wrong." Ahsoka then returns like, "It wouldn't be the first." I'm sorry, hold on. It wouldn't be the first time.
Oh my goodness.
Was that bad? Okay, I'm not doing that. Please edit that out.
No, don't edit
I'm not
that.
editing. Oh, I'm not editing it.
Oh my
No
god.
way.
Okay.
You're good.
Vader says, "Perhaps I was wrong." Ahsoka says, "It wouldn't be the first time." Okay, fast forward another minute. Ahsoka says to him, "I was beginning to believe I knew who you were behind that mask, but it's impossible. My master could never have been as vile as you." Vader then returns to her and says, "Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him." Her face is automatically filled with emotion. Her eyes widen, her jaw drops, and she says in this almost menacing voice, that I shall avenge his death.
Yeah. Oh man.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
Vader then returns to her and says, "Revenge is not the Jedi way." She says, "I am no Jedi."
No Jedi.
And they go at it.
Yeah.
And pulls out the white sabers.
Yes.
Nasty.
Okay.
Nasty.
Now, I'll continue on. Like, Vader's, going in to kill Ezra and Kanan because, like, he knocks Ahsoka off that, like, cliff or whatever, and you don't know where she is. But eventually she comes back up, strikes him in the face, and does the damage to his mask, which you can see on the bottle right here.
Hold it up a little bit.
Again, shout out to my sister. You can follow her on TikTok, Abby Noel Art. Got Vader with his eye exposed.
It's on the side of a cup for everybody not watching.
So his eye is then exposed, and they make eye contact with each other. Right. All of a sudden, you hear two voices overlapping. That's Anakin and Vader's.
Yeah.
Call for help. Essentially, it says Ahsoka, and her eyes widen again, like she knows, like he's there even in the slightest right now. Okay. She turns around to see Anakin's eye exposed. Again, he calls to her for help. Ahsoka says, "I won't leave you, not this time." And then all of a sudden his face changes again, and Vader says, Then you will die.
Oh man.
Dude, that's so heavy.
It's heavy.
So heavy.
Again, this is a kid's show, okay?
Yeah.
And the fact that we got this moment was such, in my opinion, a fan tribute that we needed. We needed this encounter. Okay. To me, that is the heaviest moment in all of Star Wars. And this is just my personal opinion because it had this impact on me. That, again, we talk about it all the time with Anakin's fall, that someone can completely change as a human being, someone he once loved, and they can have this sort of encounter and this sort of fight. Just goes to show how powerful the dark side really is.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that, man. I really don't. That's me and Colton aren't going to be doing a dramatic reading. That was a whole
monologue.
I know.
Monologue.
I'm sorry. I had
to.
I love it.
We should have saved that for the end.
I know.
That really.
Goodness. It's great. I got goosebumps reading that. I know I didn't do a great job of reading it, but those words, dude. If you read those words out of context, I feel like you could. I mean, those are tear jerking.
Yeah.
All I know is I appreciated your girl voice immensely. I wish you'd have read it all the way through.
I don't think I could have kept that up. Like, I would probably voice crack and all that. So,
Colton, How do you? I'm not even gonna try to follow that up. You're up.
Well, so one of my favorite, I'm going to go with something a little more recent. So when The Mandalorian first came out, I knew it was going to be about a single Mandalorian on like a journey. I didn't know what the storyline was going to be. I didn't know if they would bring back any characters, stuff like this. So when he gets the bounty to go collect a child,
Well,
and
50-year-old.
yeah, 50-year-old, whatever.
Right, he doesn't
50-year-old.
know he doesn't know he's a child yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Does he not?
No.
He just knows he's
Okay.
50.
So he's 50. He goes in, he sees a little egg crate, and you open it up and you see an infant Yoda species for the first time ever. And I guarantee you everybody reaction was the same in the Star Wars fandom, just awe.
How
Just
were you confused at all?
very.
I
Like,
wasn't
as far as,
confused.
like-
I was just
What I was trying to do is trying to like put a timeline in my head
Same,
of like
exactly.
where they were in the Star Wars timeline. But then the show just kept going on. And then you get to season 2, you see Ahsoka when she's older, you see Boba, you kind of get a gist of what's going on, and you see Luke. So you kind of get a feeling of where they're at in the storyline, but I want to see Baby Yoda grow up, or Grogu, my mistake. I want to see him
you can
grow
call it
up, and
all you want. We do it
I
all
wanna-
day.
I want to see him. I want to see his arc develop more.
For
Yoda
sure.
will. He's gonna, dude. He's the next Star
Next chosen one.
like Star Wars. Jeez, I don't know. He's the next
I
Star
wouldn't be that
Wars
surprised.
icon.
Yeah,
He is. He's
They-
good. He's there. He's going to continue to get stuff about him as well. Like,
Yeah.
if it stops, there's a problem.
Yeah, I was about to say they're foolish if they don't continue with Grogu
That
because
would've
he's a
been-
moneymaker.
Oh, for sure. It's all about the money.
Yep.
It would have been fun to react to that.
Uh huh.
That would have been really fun.
I know.
I can't.
What?
What was your guys' reaction when you saw that?
I think for the first because I knew it was after Return of the Jedi. I knew it was after that. So right when I saw him, I was like, Yoda? But then it quickly kept quickly noticed. I was like, oh wait, okay, that's not Yoda. I was like, oh my goodness, we have a baby Yoda. And then it just soared.
Because when I first watched that, I was at my apartment with my girlfriend, and we were watching it together. And she's never seen really any Star Wars, so she saw the look on my face and the reaction, and she was like, "What is it? Why are you reacting like this?" I was like, "You just do not understand what just happened. Like,
Yeah.
we've never seen his species before, besides Yaddle for 2 seconds,
Right.
and now we get a whole show based off of him. It's immense. It's huge. It's
No,
crazy."
I get that. So I'll kind of take a sidestep. We had a couple shows that got your guys' first vote. Now this isn't my number one. If you guys listened to last week's episode, I went into my number one, and I'll briefly talk about that again later. But the first one that I want to talk about from my list is Luke blowing up the first Death Star. With it
Classic.
with A New Hope being my favorite movie, that was just that was the hero's moment. You had the music, you had the intense fight going on behind him. You had Ben return. Well, you had Ben there in spirit, telling him, "Let go, use the Force, Luke." And I think it was really the music that did it for me, because it had that classic Star Wars music, and you just get this little countdown, and then you see just this big space station explode. And just knowing that was the first Star Wars, there was a possibility that might have been the end of Star Wars had it not
Blown up.
the way it did. That could have been the end of it all. So I really think that moment is really special.
And
Dude,
you got Han
you
Solo
can't.
coming down from the Falcon.
Exactly.
Helping Luke out.
It's the whole
Ye-
thing. It's
Crazy.
it's the entire scene of just him in those final moments about to blow up the Death Star.
You can't argue against that being a solid choice. Like, that's literally as classic as root as it gets.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, that sets the whole tone. Like,
Phenomenal.
phenomenal.
Like Nemo.
Phenomenal.
Anemone. Oh, goodness. Man, I feel bad. We're not talking as long as Alec did on that one.
So
That
I
was intense. I
I'm,
loved it though. I loved it.
I
All right, you're
I
up.
like that part just a little bit. If you
Yeah,
can't tell.
it's
Again.
back to
So
you, buddy.
All right,
let's hear
so let's. There's going to be a theme here.
Alec told me before the show that he has 3 animated scenes on his list. Is it
I'm
still
the
3?
I'm the yes.
I
But
feel
we'll
like
see,
the
we'll see
alternate
if we'll
is
get to
the-
them or not. Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
will.
So here's number 2 on my list. Okay.
Yeah.
Vader again. A trend here. Vader's first appearance.
And
Okay.
what?
In A New Hope.
Oh wow! Oh, I thought you were gonna do something in animation. All right,
So
really?
the whole Rogue One into A New Hope. Well, actually, I take that back. The scene in Rogue One of A New Hope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
but
he's coming down
never,
the hallway.
But like that wasn't in A New Hope. But
Oh, I know that, but
No, the
it's the
connection
whole
scene.
I know,
I
but
know,
it's the
connected
connection
it.
between the two. That whole thing, like when we got Rogue One and we saw what was happening minutes up into A New Hope. I think that put everything in such a better light. I mean, the whole movie in itself, but physically, what Darth Vader was doing when we saw him the first time, like come down that hallway and just destroy everybody. What he was doing immediately before that.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, obviously we saw all those rebels like literally, mess up his day pretty good. We didn't really know that, like, no one knew that happened beforehand. So he was probably pretty distraught going into that thing. Like, we're saying he had to take care of this himself. So I just liked being able to see what had happened up until that moment.
No, I agree. It follows arguably one of the most badass scenes from a force wielder we've seen in any movie.
Absolutely.
With Vader just going
When
ham
you see
on
the
those rebel
lightsaber
soldiers.
emerge out of
Yeah,
And
out
I
of
feel-
darkness.
And I feel like the Mandalorian scene with Luke almost mirrors that.
Very
scene.
similar.
it does. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
God,
For
I
sure.
love that scene.
So, Alec, I'll kind of follow in the trend you've gone with. Not so much Vader, but more animation. I think for me, my next one would have to be seeing the other side of Order 66 through Ahsoka's eyes in season 7 of the Clone Wars. That just hearing their voices in her head, seeing Rex, knowing what was going on with Maul, Mandalore, all everything that happened during Revenge of the Sith that we always wondered about, finally getting able to see another aspect of pretty much the biggest event in galactic history. One of, I think that was really cool, and it was
the biggest
done
event in galactic
beautifully.
history that no one knew about.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a good way to put it too, for sure. People cheered on as they did it.
Right?
That's
Wow.
how liberty dies.
Yes, it is.
Thunderous applause. What do you guys
Shame.
think of that?
Like the very last scene of all of Clone Wars when what was Ahsoka's
Morai?
Legion?
Oh, 332nd.
The 332nd. Thank you. All on like the spikes and stuff, and
Yeah. You see the helmet. You see Vader pick up her sabers. Those last 2 episodes are some of the best TV episodes I've ever seen. I cry
Absolutely.
every time. I shed some tears.
I recommended the Clone Wars to one of my friends on the baseball team, and he's watched all the movies, and he's like, I've just always, because he watched it when he was younger.
Mhm.
He's like, that's a kid show. I'm like, dude, if you like Star Wars, brother,
you're gonna love it.
you're gonna love it, man. Like, it's way more than just a kid show. Way more.
Nick, that's so interesting that was your topic, because that kind of leads into mine. If we're good with
Yeah, for sure.
I was looking at Order 66 from the clone's perspective, but even more so about what went down with when Tup's inhibitor chip went early.
Yeah.
And he killed I can't remember her name.
I don't know.
But what went down with him in Fives.
Oh, so you're talking about him in Fives, like that scene?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that whole thing. So like them figuring out that there were these chips, that something was going to happen. They didn't know what. They didn't know if they should remove it, if they should, they ended up doing it, but like that whole thing, like he would not leave Tup's side.
No, and just how close the Jedi were to figuring out the biggest plot to destroy them.
That, and it shows how close the clones really were brothers. Like they didn't just say that because they were, same DNA, whatever. Like, no, like Fives was willing to do whatever it took to save Tup. Anything, whatever it took. And I think that makes Order 66 even more painful because it happened to innocent people on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
So I love that. I think that's extremely deep, extremely important, and extremely powerful.
And do you guys think you'll set out a time to watch the newly edited 4-hour Revenge of the Sith that incorporates that into the old Revenge of the Sith movie?
Yes, that'll be dope.
Because
I know a couple of people that have had, and they said it's really cool.
That have what?
That have watched that whole thing.
Watch what whole thing?
It's edited. The season 7 is edited into Revenge of the Sith as it happens.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen or heard of that.
It's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, it's long.
I'd love to watch it. It's the entire season 7.
No, the parts that take place while Revenge of the Sith is happening.
Okay, so probably like the last few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
It's really dope.
I just don't have 4 hours I can spend on a movie at this point.
Right.
Might have to break it up down the middle and set it to 2 parts.
I get that.
Might as well.
All right, Vinny Bricks, you're up next.
Well, I was thinking about this while you guys were ranting about Order 66. I was gonna flip it over to the original movies. I was gonna say in Empire Strikes Back, when Luke and Vader are having their fight, and Darth Vader goes, "No, I am your father." Like that.
Yeah, no one had to say it.
Classic. Again, you can't argue against that.
No, you
Someone
can't.
had to say it, man.
And seeing the pain in his voice as Luke thought his father was this hero Jedi, and which he was, but he was also the most notorious Sith. And just coming to terms with that.
I don't even know what there is to say about that scene. You know, it's literally the most iconic scene in all of cinema, quite possibly. So I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going off of that. My next one happened right before that scene, and my favorite, one of the most impactful scenes to me, and again, it has to do a lot with the music, is Yoda training Luke in Empire Strikes Back. And to kind of mirror that, Yoda popping up with Luke again in The Last Jedi. So those two scenes as a whole, it's just everything Yoda says. You learn so much as a human being from those scenes. Like the Force wills, life creates it, makes it grow. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. And it hits the heart, but it hits like the mind so well.
It's our intro.
Yeah, exactly.
Surrounds us and binds us.
Exactly. And then going into The Last Jedi, he talks about failure. The biggest teacher failure is, so the last time we see Yoda, in the cinematic world, he's given Luke one last lesson. So, I think those, like George Lucas said, the movies are poetry. They all rhyme. And I love the way, Yoda comes in once again as just that grand master that takes on the youngling. I know Luke's however old he is, 23 years old, but the 23 compared to 900 is nothing. So he takes in this young kid just to show him the ways of the Force, and that just grows the Star Wars franchise so much. And I just don't think you can beat that relationship right there.
Dude, I'm actually so glad you brought that one up too, because that leads into my next one.
Let's hear it.
The setup of all of that goes back to Clone Wars season 6, episode 11, Voices, when he starts to hear Qui-Gon. He tells him to go to Dagobah. All the answers that you will need, you will find there. Go there and wait. Qui-Gon says to him, speak of this to no one, trust no one, come alone. That moment sets up literally everything else that's going to happen. Just what you talked about, like him teaching, training Luke right there. If that doesn't happen, Luke doesn't happen.
Ah, man.
That's
a good one.
wild.
That's a good one.
That is wild.
It's a fantastic arc in the Clone Wars too. Yoda's journey.
Yep.
Mhm.
Goodness. Sea-Dog, you're up.
Well, I'm going to say one of the newer ones when Rey is at her limit while fighting Palpatine and she hears all the Jedi before her speaking to her and raising her up and just seeing how they can impact the Last Jedi or the Last Jedi was crazy to me. I thought that was
like I said in our last pod, I love Rise of Skywalker. And that scene, the first thing I did when I left that movie theater was try to find out exactly whose voice was when and where in that whole thing. That was so dope. That scene was awesome. You take literally, I love that movie. Take out like the kiss between the two, and it's perfect in my opinion. But besides that, absolutely phenomenal, especially that scene.
And the big space battle. Love the big space battle.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of this space battle. Like I think the Rogue One space battle, the Coruscant space battle, I think so many battles in space throughout Star Wars were so much better than the last one. It was great. Not hating on the movie at all. I love the movie as well. But I think it was on the lower end of the totem poles when it came to.
Why do you think that?
I don't know.
It's
I really
maybe
don't.
It's like it's the worst of the options.
Well,
it's still not bad, but it's still good. I still love it as well. But like there's better ones than that. Is what maybe you're getting at?
Yeah, I think definitely that there's better ones. But when you think about it, you're watching the end of the Skywalker saga. You know for a fact they're gonna win. Like they can't end it on a loss. So when you're for example, when you're watching Rogue One, you know what happens next, but you're not sure what happens with this battle, who lives, who dies, anything. So I think it was just cinematically beautiful. The battle on Coruscant, it was just badass. That's all I can say about it. It's short, but it's so badass. Then you have the classic ones like Return of the Jedi, A New Hope. You know, you can't really beat those. So that's why the Rise of Skywalker is just a little down on the list when it comes to that battle.
I get it.
Yep. So, Alec, I know you had I think we've each said 3, right? We all have 2 left.
Something like that. Yeah.
All right. So I'll go. Wait, did I go or who just went?
I just went.
Okay. I'll go. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I think not maybe that it's one of my favorite scenes, but more of that I think it's just one of the most powerful scenes and emotional, unfortunately saddening scenes in Star Wars is Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar after he cuts his limbs off and he's sitting there burning. I think that scene is just right up there with how emotional it was for the Ahsoka Vader fight. Just because it's the same, it's just a different generation. It's master and apprentice, and
it's reversed roles.
Yeah, someone has failed the other. Same person failed someone else. And the other person feels like they could have done something, and I bet they partially think it's their fault,
For sure.
Just seeing Anakin torture, like just I don't know. We can move on. I just think that's an incredibly emotional scene. We don't want to get too down in the dumps because it's pod day. It's pod day. We got to keep this cheery, so we got to end with some happy ones.
All right, I got one that'll bring you up a little bit.
Let's hear it.
So, Phantom Menace, Anakin and R2 working together for the first time. It's happening while Duel of Fates is happening. Qui-Gon tells Anakin, like, go hide somewhere and go hide somewhere and stay there. And he gets in that ship and him and R2 like gets stuck on autopilot and takes off. And something that just stuck out to me in that was Anakin said to R2, get us off of this autopilot. It's going to get us both killed. And like, I heard that in every age of Anakin. I heard him as a Padawan. I heard him as in Clone, like, you know what I'm saying? Like something he would
that's
say
really cool.
in any setting. And them going back and forth at each other for the first time, and Anakin doing work in that ship while he's in space.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
I mean, that's at his purest form. So
Definitely. This isn't on my list, but kind of mirroring that or kind of echoing that is in the Phantom Menace when Anakin is showing everybody C-3PO and you see R2 roll in the room and you just see R2 and 3PO meeting for the first time. It's just so cool. They get into a little argument because R2 calls 3PO naked. So I think that was just one of those heartwarming moments where you see these best friends meet for the first time.
That's how it happened.
Yep. Sea-Dog, what's next on your list?
Dude, I'm having trouble thinking of some right now, but I was gonna say before you guys made it to a lighter note, I was gonna talk about Duel of Fates and how if Qui-Gon would have won that battle, the change in direction Anakin's life would have gone in.
Oh, for sure.
Like, just seeing
what I really think is cool as well about that is like the ultimate lead up to Ben Kenobi and Maul's fight on Tatooine when he kills Maul.
Mm-hmm.
That he tricked Maul into attacking him the same way that he attacked Qui-Gon by mimicking the same move, and ultimately beat him because of that. Just the build up and how wise and old Ben is at that point that he learned from losing his master all those years before,
mm-hmm.
in a very emotional way.
And so I haven't done much research on the Kenobi show, but when in the timeline is that taking place? Is that like right as he gets there?
No, it's right in the middle of. It's right between Revenge of the Sith and
A New Hope.
So it's 10 years after.
So he's already.
It's 19 years between, but it's like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith and 10 years before.
So he's pretty much a full-blown hermit at this point, like they said.
He'd be close. Like he'd have a decade.
He's gonna be pretty weathered.
Yeah,
at that point.
Sure.
Dude, I think that's one of the most exciting ones to me.
Oh, for sure.
By far, that's my favorite coming out. I can't wait. I cannot wait to react to that. People will see me cry like you wouldn't believe.
I know.
Do we have a release date for that?
It's filming.
No. It got pushed back.
Oh, did it? I thought it started in January.
COVID.
No. Well, maybe I'm wrong. We can look it up.
I thought it started production in January.
Dude, COVID's ruined all these release dates, and it just makes me so sad.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi updates. Filming takes place in LA this spring.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So the ball's rolling on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. I can't wait. I know I mentioned this last time on the podcast, so I'll just go over it kind of quickly. I can't go over it quickly because I want people who didn't hear it. I want them to know why it means so much to me. And it's surprising because I like the prequels and the originals better than the sequels, but this moment in the sequels just stood out to me on a personal level like crazy. And that was when Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting. Well, after Finn and Kylo Ren fight, the Skywalker lightsaber flings into the snow, and you see Kylo reaching out for it. The music builds, it slings past him into Rey's hand, and then you hear the Force theme. And that's all you.
Yeah, same.
That's all you hear for a solid 30 seconds. She ignites it, and then they just go at it. And I remember seeing that, and you guys know this. I grew up in Florida my whole life. I saw it in Florida in December on the release night, but then I moved to Pittsburgh for college in 2016. I moved January 4th. So the night I got to Pittsburgh, me and my dad came to this awesome movie theater right down the street from my house here, and we watched The Force Awakens again. And I don't think I noticed it the first time as much. It still hit me a lot, but it hit me even more the second time. That was, I think, the moment I realized, Star Wars is back. It's truly back. We hadn't had anything new since the the Clone Wars since the Clone Wars. And it wasn't an option to me that Star Wars would make more films.
It wasn't like you couldn't even fathom
no, because
it.
I was like, okay, Star Wars is done. But I'm sure the OG fans kind of expected it at some point, but I just didn't. So that was the moment I realized Star Wars was back. And, moving to a big city where you don't know a single person, it was almost like I had Star Wars with me, because I listened to the soundtrack a lot. I watched the movie and, I started playing baseball, so got to know people really quick, but they came to know really quick that I was a Star Wars fan. And it was just a great time,
For sure.
just a great time for Star Wars. Cause like I said, it was just officially back. But that's the last one I have. Does anybody have? I have another alternate that I don't think we can leave out.
Go for it, man.
Does anybody have anything else?
Go
I'm
ahead.
tapped.
No, Alec, you go first.
No, you go ahead.
What if it's the same one? Is yours animated?
No.
Neither is mine. I bet it's the same one.
I promise it's not.
Okay. You go first, please.
No, you go.
Okay, fine.
Go.
Mine is Luke and Mando as a whole. Luke coming back to save Grogu, the hallway scene, him meeting Grogu, R2 coming back, that entire scene, it meant so much. And we've said this so many times, but it meant so much to so many people. If you look at the comments on our reaction to that, there's like 20 grown men in there saying, I cried my eyes out and I'm 50 years old. And it's to bring in, a grown man to tears, thousands, it's unbelievable. So that was, another one of those just iconic moments, because you have Luke Skywalker meeting Baby Yoda, showing up with R2 and just wrecking everything, including our hearts.
Yep.
Alec, you're up, buddy.
All right. So last one for me, going classic again right here, okay, is when we see Princess Leia putting the message into R2. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
That's cool.
Sets up the whole theme of what Star Wars is really about, and that's hope, family, hope, all those things that make it up. And obviously that becomes a theme, that becomes a very, very commonly used term. And it just shows, Star Wars at its core, at its root, and what it's really about.
I think we can all agree that Alec critically analyzed all these scenes, and we just need to take a moment to appreciate that.
I love it. He came prepared to this one.
He did.
Well, it's Star Wars Podcast Day, man. This was an incredible conversation to be able to talk about just some of these moments that made us the fans we are, and the good thing about it is we're going to keep getting them. Like they're not going to stop. We're getting.
What a time to be alive, baby.
Yes, sir. We're getting Mando season 3, Book of Boba, Kenobi, Droids, Acolyte, Bad Batch, Clone Wars, pretty much. Like we're getting so much Cassian. We're getting unnamed movies. Like the Star Wars story is far from over. Far from over. Yeah. Just to throw out, we've said it so many times throughout so many episodes. While we're talking about best moments, we got to talk about from a certain point of view. If you haven't read it, you got to go read it. So that's a pretty incredible book. Has a lot of Star Wars moments that you didn't know they were incredible moments, but until you read that book. So definitely go check that out. Do you guys have anything else before we let people go?
Oh man, I'm good.
I'm good.
Good deal. Guys, like always, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited that we were able to participate in Star Wars Podcast Day 2021. It's an honor to be put up there next to so many other amazing accounts, just podcast channels, content creators. It's awesome. And if anybody wants to partner with us, just work on some stuff, exchange ideas, anything, just BS about Star Wars, hit us up. We're always willing to, work with other platforms. So definitely hit us up. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything you see below. You can follow us at Carbonite Convos, and you can follow our personal channels right below Alec there. We have some exciting. Alec, I'm sorry, people. We have a huge announcement
Oh
before
my
we let the
God.
people go.
Dude,
have a huge
I'm
announcement.
so glad you brought it up. Oh my God.
I
Okay.
can't believe I almost ended this episode. So
We almost goofed.
we almost did. Hopefully the Bucks are winning right now too. By the whoever's watching this,
I don't want to
let's
talk
go.
about it yet.
Let's go.
Future
Super Bowl.
future us. I hope everything is going well.
But super huge announcement. We're going to do our first interview from someone in Star Wars media, and we were looking. I don't even know how to go into it, so I'll just say what character. She's an awesome character from The Mandalorian. We really don't know much about her. Behind the mask of the armorer, we're going to be having Emily Swallow on Carbonite Convos in 2 weeks for episode 27. So we couldn't be more excited to get such an intriguing character and such an amazing actress on the show. I'm super excited to have somebody from the Star Wars galaxy on the show.
Dude, I owe you one for pulling that off. So,
well, she
Yeah,
messaged
man,
me back
that's
on
huge.
Instagram. She messaged me back. She very generously hooked me up with her manager. So me and her were talking, and we were able to get this scheduled out. So we're going to be doing a cool interview with Emily Swallow. Maybe she'll give us some future armor information. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see. But again, guys, we really appreciate your support. Follow us all the jibbita that we just spewed out before the announcement. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and give us a like if you enjoyed this video. Share us just to, reach as many nerds as we can. But Super Bowl's going on right now. I'm trying to think. We're recording it
right now.
We're recording it so far in advance. I'm trying to think of what's coming out next. We'll just say until episode 27, guys, may the Force be with you.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.